I warned her, "Don't humiliate me at this gala." She laughed in my face and handed my award to her lover while 300 people watched. As I walked out with my head high, her phone rang. It was her mentor. The board just called. "God, what have you done?" That's when I realized she'd just destroyed herself, and I hadn't lifted a finger. This is the story of how my cheating wife's arrogance became her downfall. My name is Benjamin Turner. I'm 42 years old, and until 3 months ago, I thought I had it all figured out. Chief Content Officer at Meridian Media Group, one of the biggest publishing houses in New York. My wife, Kendra, was the VP of digital media at the same company. We were the power couple everyone envied. 2 kids, a brownstone in Brooklyn Heights, matching corner offices on the 20th floor. The American dream, right? Wrong. It started small. The kind of things you tell yourself don't mean anything. Kendra coming home later and later, claiming strategy meetings that ran past midnight. Her phone suddenly having a passcode I didn't know. The way she'd laugh at texts I couldn't see, then quickly lock the screen when I walked into the room. I'm not stupid. I've been around long enough to recognize the signs. But I kept telling myself I was paranoid, that 15 years of marriage meant something. Then came a night, I found the messages. It was late January, around 10 o'clock. Kendra had fallen asleep on the couch after another exhausting day. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table. I glanced at it, just a reflex. The preview showed enough. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow." Tonight was incredible. The sender? Chad Phillips, Director of Acquisitions. The golden boy she'd been praising at dinner parties for the past 6 months. My hands went cold. I picked up her phone, and somehow, I knew the passcode would be different. But her laptop was open on the dining table, still logged into her messages. I'm not proud of what I did next, but I'm not ashamed either. When someone's betraying you, you have a right to know the truth. The messages went back for months. For months of planning hotel meetings, of stolen afternoons, of her laughing about how clueless I was. There were details I won't repeat, things that made my stomach turn. But one exchange stood out. Chad had written, "When are you going to leave him?" Her response, "After the Media Leadership Awards. Once I get that promotion, I won't need him anymore." I sat there in the dark for 2 hours, reading every word. Our daughter Chloe woke up crying around midnight. I went upstairs, picked her up from her crib, and held her while she fell back asleep. She's only 2. She doesn't understand that her mother's already checked out of this family. My son Austin's 15. He's been withdrawn lately, spending more time in his room. I wonder if he sensed something too. That night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to be the guy who falls apart. I wasn't going to beg or make scenes. I was going to handle this the way I handle everything in business. Strategically, methodically, and with complete control. If Kendra wanted to humiliate me, she'd find out what real consequences looked like. The next morning, I acted like nothing happened. Made breakfast, kissed her goodbye, went to work. But I also made a call to an old friend from law school, James Wright. He's a divorce attorney now, one of the best in Manhattan. I told him everything. He told me to start gathering evidence and to be patient. "Let her make the first move," James said. "Let her show everyone who she really is." So that's what I did. I copied files. I took screenshots. I documented everything. And I waited. The Media Leadership Awards were 6 weeks away. I was nominated for the Innovation in Content Award, the biggest honor in our industry. Kendra knew how much it meant to me. She knew it represented 20 years of work. And if those messages were any indication, she was planning something that would hurt. I was going to let her do it, and then I was going to destroy her. The hardest part about knowing your wife is cheating isn't the betrayal itself. It's maintaining the facade. Every morning I'd wake up next to Kendra, watch her get ready for work, and pretend I didn't know she'd be meeting Chad during her lunch with a marketing team. Every night I'd listen to her talk about her day, filtering truth from lies, and I'd smile and nod like nothing was wrong. It was eating me alive. But I kept my face neutral, my voice steady. 2 weeks after finding those messages, I met with James at his office in Midtown. He'd reviewed everything I'd gathered, screenshots of text messages, emails discussing hotel reservations, expense reports that didn't add up. Chad had been billing romantic dinners as client entertainment. Kendra had claimed business trips to Boston that never appeared on her company calendar. "This is solid," James said, spreading the documents across his mahogany desk. His expression was grim. But I need you to understand something, Ben. If you want to come out of this clean, you can't make the first aggressive move. Let her show her hand. I leaned back in the leather chair, my jaw tight. She's planning something at the award ceremony. I can feel it. Then let her do it, James replied. He was in his late 50s, gray at the temples, with the kind of calm that comes from seeing every ugly divorce scenario imaginable. Public humiliation works both ways. If she crosses a line in front of witnesses, it strengthens your position. The court will see who the bad actor really is. What about the kids? The question came out rougher than I intended. Austin's already suspicious. He asked me last week why Mom's always working late. James's expression softened. Document everything, Ben. Keep being the present father. When this goes to court, you'll want to show you were the stable parent. I nodded, but my mind was already elsewhere. Austin had become withdrawn, spending hours in his room with headphones on. Yesterday, I'd found him looking at old family photos on his phone, pictures from back when Kendra actually smiled at me like she meant it. He didn't say anything, just locked his screen and mumbled something about homework. Then there was Chloe. Our nanny, Anya, had been with us for 18 months. She was good with the kids, reliable, professional. But lately, I'd noticed her watching Kendra with an odd expression, like she knew something too. 3 days after meeting with James, I was working from home when Anya knocked on my office door. Chloe was napping, and Austin was at school. Mr. Turner, may I speak with you? Her Russian accent was soft, hesitant. Of course. Come in. She closed the door behind her, wringing her hands. I do not wish to cause problems, but I think you should know something. My pulse quickened. Go ahead. Last week, when Mrs. Turner said she was at conference, I saw her. I was taking Chloe to doctor appointment, and we passed the Gramercy Hotel. Anya's eyes met mine, steady and serious. Mrs. Turner was there, with a man. Not you. The room felt suddenly airless. Did she see you? No. I kept walking. But Mr. Turner, I have worked for many families. I know when something is not right. She paused. You are a good father. You deserve to know truth. I thanked her, asked her to write down everything she remembered, the date, the time, what she saw. She did, her handwriting careful and precise. Another piece of evidence for the file that was growing thicker by the day. That evening, Kendra came home at 7, all smiles and perfume I didn't recognize. She kissed Chloe, asked Austin about his chemistry test, and told me about her productive day. I smiled back and asked what she wanted for dinner. Inside, I was counting down the days until the award ceremony. 4 weeks left. 4 weeks until Kendra made her move, whatever it was going to be. 4 weeks until I made mine. The evening before the Media Leadership Awards, I took Austin out to dinner. Just the two of us, something we hadn't done in months. We went to his favorite burger place in Brooklyn, the kind of spot with checkered floors and waitresses who've worked there for 30 years. He ordered a bacon cheeseburger and fries. I got a coffee I didn't drink. Dad, what's going on? Austin asked after the waitress left. His brown eyes, so much like mine, were serious beyond his 15 years. I could have deflected. Should have, probably. But sitting across from my son, watching him try to be brave while his world was quietly falling apart, I couldn't keep lying. Things between your mom and me are complicated right now, I said carefully. Is she cheating on you? The bluntness of it hit me like a punch. What makes you ask that? Austin pushed his fries around his plate. I'm not blind, Dad. She's always gone. She doesn't look at you the same way anymore. And last week, I heard her on the phone in the garage. She was talking to someone, saying things. He stopped, his jaw working. Things a married person shouldn't say. I reached across the table and gripped his shoulder. Listen to me. Whatever happens, whatever you see or hear, you need to know this isn't your fault. You and Chloe are the best things in my life. That's never going to change. Are you getting divorced? His voice faltered slightly. I don't know yet. But if we do, I'll fight for you. Both of you. I promise you that. Austin nodded, but I could see the fear in his eyes. The fear of his family splitting apart, of having to choose sides, of losing the life he'd always known. I hated Kendra for putting that fear there. Hated Chad for being part of it. But mostly, I hated myself for not seeing it sooner. When we got home, Kendra was upstairs getting ready for the awards. I could hear her in our bedroom, humming some song I didn't recognize. Anya was reading to Chloe in the nursery. Austin went straight to his room and closed the door. I stood in the hallway, listening to the sounds of my disintegrating family, and made a decision. Tomorrow night, at that ceremony, whatever Kendra had planned, I was going to let her do it. I was going to let her show everyone exactly who she was. And then I was going to make sure she paid for every lie, every betrayal, every moment she'd chosen her ambition over our family. I walked into our bedroom. Kendra was standing in front of the mirror, adjusting a red dress I'd never seen before. She looked beautiful. She also looked like a stranger. "Big night tomorrow," I said, keeping my voice neutral. She turned, smiling that perfect smile she practiced for years. "I'm excited. You must be nervous about the award." "I am." I stepped closer, held her gaze. "Kendra, I need you to know something. Whatever happens tomorrow night, whatever decisions get made, they matter. They have consequences." Something flickered in her eyes. Guilt? Fear? It was gone before I could identify it. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about us. About this family. About choices." I paused, let the words sink in. "Don't humiliate me at this gala, Kendra. Whatever you're thinking, whatever you're planning, don't." She laughed. Actually laughed. "Benjamin, you're being paranoid. I don't know what you think I'm planning, but you're imagining things." "Am I?" "Yes." She turned back to the mirror, dismissing me. "Get some sleep. You'll want to be rested for tomorrow." I left the room without another word. She made her choice. Now I'd make mine. The grand ballroom of the Plaza Hotel was packed with everyone who mattered in media. Publishers, editors, content creators, all dressed in their finest, drinking champagne and pretending the industry wasn't dying a slow death. I stood near the bar with James, who'd come as my guest, watching Kendra work the room in that red dress. She was radiant, confident, touching Chad's arm just a little too long when they spoke. "She's going to make her move tonight," I said quietly. James sipped his scotch. "Are you ready?" "I've been ready for weeks." The ceremony began at 7. We found our assigned table near the front. Kendra sat beside me. Chad 3 seats away, both of them exchanging glances they thought were subtle. Lawrence Mitchell, Kendra's mentor, was at the head table with the other board members. I caught his eye once. He nodded, all professional courtesy. The awards moved slowly. Best Digital Campaign, Excellence in Journalism, Innovation in Podcasting. Each winner gave their speech while I felt the tension building in my chest. Finally, they announced the Innovation in Content Award, my category, and the nominees are... The presenter began, reading from the teleprompter. My name was called third. The video montage of my work played on the screens. 20 years of building brands, launching platforms, transforming how people consume media. The room applauded politely. Then something strange happened. Instead of the presenter announcing the winner, Kendra stood up. She walked to the stage like she owned it, took the microphone from the confused presenter's hand, and smiled at the audience. "I'm sorry for the interruption," she said, her voice smooth and practiced. "But as VP of Digital Media and a member of the awards committee, I wanted to personally present this particular honor. The Innovation in Content Award represents vision, creativity, and leadership." My stomach dropped. This was it. Whatever she'd planned, it was happening now. "We had many deserving candidates this year," Kendra continued, looking directly at me. "But true innovation requires courage. It requires someone willing to take risks, to challenge the status quo." She paused for dramatic effect. "That's why this year's Innovation in Content Award goes to Chad Phillips, Director of Acquisitions." The room went silent. Confused whispers rippled through the crowd. Chad stood up, looking surprised but not surprised enough. He walked to the stage while my colleagues stared, while Lawrence Mitchell's face went pale, while James put a steadying hand on my arm. Kendra handed Chad the crystal trophy, the one with my name already engraved in the program. She kissed his cheek. The cameras flashed, and she looked at me with an expression I'd never forget. Pure triumph. I stood up slowly, adjusted my tie, and walked toward the exit. Behind me, I heard the whispers growing louder, heard someone say, "What just happened?" But I didn't look back. I kept walking, my head high, my steps measured and deliberate. I was halfway to the door when I heard it, the sharp ring of a phone cutting through the confused murmurs. I glanced back. Kendra was fumbling with her clutch, pulling out her phone. Even from 30 feet away, I could see her face change as she looked at the screen, saw the color drain from her cheeks. She answered it, and suddenly Lawrence Mitchell's voice boomed through the ballroom. He must have been calling from backstage, his voice echoing through the sound system someone had accidentally left on. Kendra, the board just called me. Your nomination for Senior VP. God, what have you done? They saw what you did. They know about you and Phillips. It's over. The room exploded. Kendra stood frozen on stage, the phone still pressed to her ear, while 300 people watched her world collapse in real time. I pushed through the doors and left her there. I drove home in silence, James following in his own car. We'd agreed beforehand that whatever happened at the ceremony, we'd reconvene at my house immediately. The streets of Manhattan blurred past, brake lights and traffic signals washing the interior of my car in red and amber. My phone had been buzzing nonstop since I left the plaza. Colleagues, friends, people who'd witnessed what happened and wanted answers. I ignored every call except one. Mr. Turner, it's Anya. Mrs. Turner just called. She's coming home now. She sounded upset. Thanks for the warning. Can you take the kids upstairs? Keep them in their rooms until I say otherwise. Of course. Mr. Turner, I'm sorry for what happened to you tonight. Don't be sorry, Anya. Justice doesn't apologize. When I pulled into her driveway, James was already there, leaning against his Mercedes. We went inside together. I'd barely taken off my jacket when headlights swept across the living room windows. Kendra's BMW screeched to a stop at an angle, one tire on the lawn. She burst through the front door like a hurricane. Her makeup was ruined, mascara streaking down her cheeks. The red dress that had looked so perfect hours ago was wrinkled, her hair disheveled. She looked at me with wild eyes, then at James. What is he doing here? She demanded. James is my attorney, I said calmly. You might want to call yours. Attorney? Benjamin, what did you do? What did you do? Her voice climbed higher with each word. Lawrence called me. The board knows about Chad and me. They're talking about termination. My promotion is gone. Everything is gone. You did this to yourself, Kendra. No. She pointed a shaking finger at me. You set me up. You planned this. You made me look like a fool in front of everyone. I walked to the bar cart, poured myself a whiskey. My hand was steady. I didn't make you do anything. You chose to have an affair. You chose to steal my award and give it to your boyfriend. You chose to humiliate me in front of 300 people. Those were your choices. How long have you known? The question came out as a whisper. Long enough. Long enough to document everything. The hotels. The expense reports. The lies you told our son when you were really with Chad. I took a sip of whiskey, let it burn down my throat. Long enough to copy every message where you planned to leave me once you got your promotion. Kendra sank onto the couch, her face in her hands. This will ruin me. My career, my reputation, everything I've built. You should have thought about that before you destroyed our marriage. She looked up at me, and for a moment, I saw something that might have been genuine remorse. Benjamin, please. We can fix this. We can go to counseling, work things out. I made a mistake, but we have 15 years together. We have children. Now you remember we have children. My voice stayed level, but there was steel underneath. You didn't remember them when you were in hotel rooms with Chad. You didn't remember them when you were planning to leave us. You didn't remember them tonight when you decided public humiliation was worth whatever sick satisfaction you got from it. James cleared his throat. Mrs. Turner, I should inform you that we have substantial documentation of your infidelity. We also have testimony from witnesses, including your nanny, who saw you and Mr. Phillips together. If you wish to contest the divorce, you should know that the evidence is overwhelming. Divorce. Kendra's voice broke. Benjamin, you can't. I already did. I pulled the papers from my jacket pocket, the ones James had prepared weeks ago. You're being served tomorrow morning. I'm filing for full custody of Austin and Chloe. I'm seeking the house, majority of our assets, and I'm requesting that you vacate the premises within 72 hours. You can't take my children. I'm not taking them. You abandoned them long before tonight. I set down my glass. I've documented every late night, every missed dinner, every time Anya had to explain to Chloe why Mommy wasn't coming home. I have Austin's statement about what he overheard. I have evidence of you using marital funds for your affair. A judge will see all of it. Kendra stood up, her legs shaking. What about Chad? Is he? Chad's being fired, I said flatly. Lawrence made that clear. Meridian has a zero-tolerance policy for executives who engage in fraudulent behavior. Turns out giving awards to your lover instead of the rightful recipient qualifies. He'll be lucky if he finds work anywhere in this industry again. She looked at me like she was seeing a stranger. Maybe she was. The man she'd married, the one who'd trusted her blindly, was gone. In his place stood someone who'd learned that survival meant being harder than the people trying to break you. I loved you, she whispered. No, you didn't. You loved what I could give you. The lifestyle, the status, the perfect family photo for your social media. But love doesn't destroy people, Kendra. You destroyed us. Now you get to live with what's left. James touched my arm gently. Benjamin, why don't you go check on your kids? I'll handle things here. I nodded and headed upstairs, leaving Kendra sobbing on the couch in her ruined red dress. I found Austin in his room, sitting on his bed with his laptop open. He looked up when I entered, his eyes red-rimmed. Chloe was asleep in the nursery, Anya sitting in the rocking chair beside her crib like a guardian angel. Is it over? Austin asked. The marriage? Yeah, it's over. I sat down beside him, suddenly exhausted. How much did you hear? Enough. She really did it, didn't she? She really gave your award to that guy. She did. Austin was quiet for a moment, then said something that surprised me. Good. That you're divorcing her. That you're not letting her get away with it. He closed his laptop, turned to face me. Dad, I've been so angry. Angry at her for cheating, angry at you for not doing anything about it. But tonight, seeing you walk out of that ceremony with your head up, seeing her get exactly what she deserved. I'm proud of you. My throat tightened. You shouldn't have to deal with any of this. You're 15. I'm old enough to know right from wrong. Mom was wrong. You're doing the right thing. He paused. What happens now? Now we rebuild. You, me, and Chloe. We figure out what normal looks like without someone who doesn't want to be here. Will we stay in the house? Yeah. This is your home. I'm not letting her take that from you. Austin nodded, then leaned his head against my shoulder like he used to when he was little. We sat like that for a while, father and son, survivors of the same shipwreck. Downstairs, I heard Kendra's car start up and pull away. James appeared in the doorway a few minutes later. She's gone. Went to her sister's place in Jersey. I told her the papers will be delivered tomorrow. Thanks, James. You did good tonight, Ben. A lot of men would have lost their composure. You didn't. That matters. After he left, I went to check on Chloe. She was still sleeping, her tiny chest rising and falling peacefully. Anya stood up quietly. She didn't wake up. She doesn't know. That's good. I want her to have a few more years before she has to understand how complicated people can be. Anya touched my arm gently. You are a good father, Mr. Turner. The children will be okay. You will make sure of it. I hope she was right. The next morning, my phone exploded with messages. Colleagues offering support. A formal apology from the Media Leadership Awards Committee, saying they'd be presenting me with the Innovation in Content Award at a private ceremony. Lawrence Mitchell sent a text. The board stands with you. Kendra's employment is terminated effective today. But the most important message came from an unknown number. This is Richard Keller from Turner Publishing. Saw what happened last night. If you're interested in a change, we'd like to talk about our Chief Content Officer position. Better pay, better people, no drama. I stared at the message for a long time. A fresh start. A company where my ex-wife's betrayal wouldn't follow me into every meeting. I typed back, let's schedule a call. Austin came downstairs around 9, already dressed. Dad, there's something I need to tell you. What is it? Yesterday, before the ceremony, I recorded a conversation with Mom. She didn't know. She was on the phone with Chad, talking about how they were going to put you in your place tonight. About how she was going to make sure everyone saw her given the award instead of you. He pulled out his phone, played me the audio. Kendra's voice was clear, cold, calculating. This is for when we were younger and Dad didn't appreciate my ambitions, she said on the recording. Chad gets it. Chad respects what I want. Benjamin just expects me to be his perfect little wife. I listened to the whole thing, my jaw tight. Austin, this is solid evidence. This proves premeditation. It'll help in court. That's why I recorded it. He looked at me steadily. I told you, Dad. I'm on your side. Later that afternoon, Kendra showed up to get some clothes. I'd had the locks changed. She stood on the porch, ringing the doorbell repeatedly until I opened the door. I need my things, she said. Her eyes were swollen, her face pale without makeup. Anya packed a bag. It's in the garage. I handed her a key. You've got 10 minutes. Benjamin, please. Can we talk about this? Talk about what? How you planned with your boyfriend to humiliate me. How you destroyed your career for a 33-year-old who's probably already looking for his next victim. I crossed my arms. There's nothing to talk about. You made your choices. Now live with them. She started to cry again, but I felt nothing. No sympathy, no regret, no softness. She'd burned through all of that. The kids need their mother, she tried. The kids need stability. They need a parent who shows up. That's me, Kendra. That's always been me. I watched her walk to her car, suitcase in hand, and felt the first real sense of relief I'd had in months. She was gone. The poison was out of my house. Now the healing could begin. The divorce proceedings started 2 weeks after the ceremony. Kendra hired Margaret Sullivan, one of Manhattan's most aggressive divorce attorneys, the kind who didn't care about truth as long as she got her client a favorable settlement. I knew we were in for a fight the moment James forwarded me her first demand letter. She's asking for 50% of everything, James said over coffee at his office. The house, your retirement accounts, investment portfolio. She wants joint custody and alimony of $15,000 a month. I set down my cup carefully. She destroyed our marriage, humiliated me publicly, and now she wants me to pay her. That's exactly what she wants. Margaret Sullivan specializes in painting men as the villains, regardless of the facts. We need to be prepared for her to get ugly. Let her try. The first hearing was scheduled for early March. I showed up in a navy suit, Austin beside me in khakis and a blazer. He'd insisted on coming, wanted to show the judge who was really taking care of the kids. Kendra arrived with her attorney, looking polished and professional in a gray suit, her hair pulled back. She lost weight. Good. Guilt and stress had a way of eating at people. The judge, a woman in her 60s named Carolyn Bradford, reviewed the initial filings with a stern expression. She looked at both of us over her reading glasses. I've reviewed the preliminary evidence. Mrs. Turner, I'm particularly troubled by the allegations of infidelity and professional misconduct. Would you like to address these? Margaret Sullivan stood smoothly. Your Honor, my client admits she made a mistake in her personal life. However, she's a devoted mother who's been unfairly demonized by her husband. Mr. Turner has weaponized a difficult period in their marriage to alienate their children and seize marital assets. Judge Bradford's eyebrow raised. Weaponized. Ms. Sullivan, your client had an affair with a subordinate, then publicly gave her husband's industry award to that same subordinate. That's not a difficult period. That's a pattern of deception. Your Honor, if I may. You may not. The judge looked at Kendra directly. Mrs. Turner, did you or did you not engage in an extramarital affair with Chad Phillips? Kendra's face flushed. Yes, Your Honor. But, and did you use your position on the awards committee to give Mr. Turner's award to Mr. Phillips? It wasn't his award. The committee made a collective decision. That's not what the evidence suggests. Judge Bradford shuffled through papers. I have statements from 3 committee members saying you pushed for Mr. Phillips despite strong objections. I have emails showing you coordinated with Mr. Phillips beforehand. Mrs. Turner, I don't appreciate dishonesty in my courtroom. The hearing lasted 2 hours. By the end, Judge Bradford had ordered a temporary custody arrangement. I got primary custody. Kendra got supervised visitation twice a week. The house remained mine, pending final settlement. I could see Margaret Sullivan whispering urgently to Kendra as we left. Outside the courthouse, Austin turned to me. Dad, she lied. She actually lied to the judge. I know, son. Doesn't that make you angry? It makes me grateful I married someone who showed me exactly who she was before it was too late to protect you and Chloe. That evening, I got a call from Richard Keller at Turner Publishing. We'd been negotiating the chief content officer position for 2 weeks. Benjamin, we'd like to make you a formal offer. $250,000 base salary, full benefits, stock options, and a signing bonus of $50,000. You'd start in April. I looked around my home office, at the family photos still on the wall, at Austin doing homework on my desk. I accept. Excellent. Welcome to Turner Publishing, Benjamin. I think you're going to fit right in. After I hung up, Austin looked up from his calculus. New job. Better pay, better environment, fresh start. He grinned. Does Mom know? Not yet. But she will when I present my updated financial disclosure at the next hearing. His grin widened. I can't wait to see her face. 3 weeks into the divorce proceedings, Kendra tried a new tactic. She showed up at the house unannounced on a Saturday morning, just after I'd made breakfast for the kids. I opened the door to find her standing there with tears in her eyes, makeup perfect, wearing a soft sweater that made her look vulnerable. "Benjamin, please. Can we talk? Just 5 minutes." "No." I started to close the door. "Wait. Please. I need to see the kids. I'm their mother. You see them during your court-ordered visitation. Tuesday and Thursday evenings, supervised by a social worker. That's what the judge decided. That's not fair. 2 days a week? I should be seeing my children every day. Then you shouldn't have chosen your career and your boyfriend over them." I kept my voice level but firm. "You made your choices, Kendra. Now you live with the consequences." She changed tactics, her voice dropping to something softer, more pleading. "Benjamin, I know I hurt you. I know I destroyed what we had. But I'm in therapy now. I'm working on myself. Can't we try to fix this? For Austin and Chloe. There's nothing to fix. You burn this down. You don't get to rebuild it. I miss you." She reached for my hand. I stepped back. "I miss us. I miss our family. You should have thought about that before you gave my award to Chad." I looked at her directly. "How is Chad by now? Still taking your calls?" Her face hardened. "That's none of your business." "I'll take that as a no. Let me guess. He dropped you the moment the scandal hit. Probably blamed you for his firing. Told you that you were too needy, too dramatic. Am I close?" The way her jaw tightened told me I was exactly right. "You don't know what you're talking about." "I know exactly what I'm talking about. You threw away a 15-year marriage for someone who didn't even have the decency to stand by you when things got hard. That's on you, Kendra. Not me. Not the kids. You." She pulled out her phone, showed me the screen. It was a photo of Chloe from Anya's Instagram, our daughter playing in the backyard. "I see pictures of my baby online before I get to see her in person. Do you know how that feels? Do you know how it feels to find out your wife is cheating? To have her humiliate you in front of your entire industry? To explain to your 15-year-old son why his mother chose someone else?" I crossed my arms. "You created this situation. You don't get to play the victim now." "I'm not playing anything. I'm trying to fix my mistakes. Some mistakes can't be fixed. This is one of them." I glanced back into the house, where Austin was watching from the stairs. "You need to leave. If you want to see the kids outside of your scheduled visits, have your attorney file a motion with the court. Benjamin." "Goodbye, Kendra." I closed the door and locked it. Through the window, I watched her stand there for a moment, shoulders shaking, before finally walking back to her car. Austin came down the stairs, his expression hard. "She tried to guilt trip you." "Yeah, she did." "Did it work?" "Not even a little bit." I put my hand on his shoulder. "Your mother is going to try everything she can think of to avoid taking responsibility. Tears, manipulation, playing the victim. Don't fall for it, son. Actions matter more than words, and her actions destroyed this family." "I know, Dad. I'm not going to fall for it." He paused. "Is it weird that I don't miss her?" "No, it's not weird at all." Later that afternoon, James called with news. "Benjamin, you're not going to believe this. Kendra's attorney just filed a motion claiming you're alienating the children. They're saying you're poisoning Austin and Chloe against their mother. That's ridiculous. I've never said a negative word about her in front of Chloe, and Austin figured out the truth on his own." "I know, and we can prove it. Austin's recording of Kendra planning to humiliate you? That's going to be Exhibit A. You can't alienate kids from a parent who alienated herself." James paused. "They're getting desperate, Ben. That's good for us. Desperate people make mistakes. What's our next move?" "We keep doing exactly what we're doing. Being the stable parent. Documenting everything. Letting Kendra show the court who she really is." He chuckled. "And we prepare to present your new job offer. Margaret Sullivan is going to have a field day trying to explain why her client should get alimony from a man she betrayed while he's starting a better position." That evening, I helped Austin with his chemistry homework while Chloe played with blocks on the living room floor. Anya was cooking dinner in the kitchen, the smell of roast chicken filling the house. It was peaceful, stable, normal. Everything Kendra had almost destroyed. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "You're going to regret this. You're going to regret turning my children against me." I showed it to Austin. He read it and shook his head. "Forward that to James. That's evidence of harassment. When did you get so smart? I learned from the best." He grinned at me, then went back to his homework. I forwarded the text to James and blocked the number. Kendra could rage all she wanted. She lost. She just didn't know it yet. The final divorce hearing came in late April, 3 months after that disastrous ceremony. The courtroom was the same, Judge Bradford presiding, but everything else had changed. I sat with James, confident and prepared. Kendra sat with Margaret Sullivan, looking defeated. Judge Bradford reviewed the case file. I've examined all evidence submitted by both parties. Mr. Turner, I see you've accepted a position at Turner Publishing. Congratulations. Thank you, Your Honor. Mrs. Turner, I see you found employment as a marketing consultant. Part-time position, correct? Kendra's voice was quiet. Yes, Your Honor. The judge looked over her glasses. Let me be clear about my findings. Mrs. Turner engaged in an extended affair, misused her professional position, and showed consistent disregard for her family obligations. Mr. Turner, meanwhile, has been the primary caregiver, maintained stable employment, and acted in the children's best interests throughout these proceedings. Margaret Sullivan tried to interject, but Judge Bradford held up her hand. I'm awarding primary custody to Mr. Turner. Mrs. Turner will have supervised visitation every other weekend until she can demonstrate 6 months of stability. Mr. Turner retains the family home. Assets will be divided 60-40 in Mr. Turner's favor, accounting for Mrs. Turner's financial misconduct. Alimony is denied. Kendra's face went white. Your Honor, please. My decision is final. This court is adjourned. Outside, Austin was waiting with Anya and Chloe. He looked at me, and I nodded. He grinned. We won. We won. That evening, Kendra's father called me. George, the retired military man who'd apologized months ago, had stayed in touch. Benjamin, I heard about the ruling. I want you to know I think the judge made the right call. Thank you, George. That means a lot. Those kids need stability. You're giving them that. Kendra, he sighed heavily. She made her bed. Now she's got to lie in it. But I hope you'll still let me see my grandchildren. Of course. You're always welcome, George. You didn't do anything wrong. Thank you, son. You're a good man. Better than my daughter deserved. A week later, I started at Turner Publishing. The office was in Midtown, modern and bright, filled with people who didn't know my history. Richard Keller introduced me around, and I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Optimism. My phone buzzed during lunch. A text from an unknown number, but I recognized the area code. Kendra's sister. Benjamin. Kendra tried to hurt herself last night. She's okay, but she's in the hospital. Thought you should know. I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me felt nothing. Part of me felt tired. I called James. Kendra attempted suicide. Or at least, that's what her sister says. Is it real, or is it manipulation? Does it matter? Either way, it's not my problem anymore. Cold, but accurate. Do not reach out to her, Ben. Do not give her any opening. I didn't. I forwarded the message to her attorney and went back to work. Whatever Kendra was going through, she'd created it herself. 10 months after the ceremony, life looked completely different. I woke up in my own bed, in my own house, with the morning sun streaming through windows that Kendra would never see again. Down the hall, I could hear Austin getting ready for school. Downstairs, Anya was making breakfast for Chloe. I'd been at Turner Publishing for 6 months. The work was challenging, the team respected me, and I'd already launched 2 successful campaigns. My salary increase meant I could afford to keep Anya full-time, send Austin to a better college when the time came, secure Chloe's future. Austin appeared in my doorway, backpack slung over his shoulder. He was taller now, more confident. Dad, I got my SAT scores back. 1540. Austin, that's incredible. I pulled him into a hug. MIT better watch out. That's the plan. He grinned. You know what's weird? I'm happy. Like actually happy. I didn't realize how much stress Mom's drama was causing until it was gone. I know what you mean. Downstairs, Chloe was in her high chair, eating pancakes that Anya had cut into small pieces. She looked up when I entered and smiled. Dad, my heart swelled. She was too young to remember the chaos, too young to understand what her mother had done. That was a blessing. Mr. Turner, there's mail for you, Anya said, handing me an envelope. It was from Kendra's attorney. I opened it carefully. Inside was a letter from Kendra herself. Benjamin, I know you probably won't read this, but I need to say it anyway. I destroyed the best thing in my life. I destroyed us. I see that now. I'm in therapy, trying to understand why I did what I did. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know that you were right about everything. I hope someday Austin and Chloe can forgive me. I hope you're happy. You deserve happiness. K. I read it twice, then folded it and put it in a drawer. Maybe someday I'd show it to the kids. Maybe not. It didn't matter anymore. That Saturday, I took Austin and Chloe to Central Park. We fed ducks, played on the playground, ate hot dogs from vendor. Normal, simple, perfect. As we walked back to the car, Austin said, "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Anything. Do you ever miss her?" "Mom, I thought about it honestly. I miss who I thought she was. But that person never really existed. So no, I don't miss her. I miss the illusion." "That makes sense." He was quiet for a moment. "I met someone. At school. Her name's Emily. She's smart, funny. I think you'd like her. I'd love to meet her." "Cool. Maybe next week." He looked nervous, hopeful. "Next week sounds perfect." As I put Chloe in her car seat, I looked up at the New York skyline. Somewhere out there, Kendra was trying to piece together what was left of her life. But that wasn't my concern anymore. My concern was the two incredible kids depending on me, the career I was building, the future stretching out ahead of us. She'd tried to destroy me. Instead, she'd freed me. And I'd never been stronger.